Hi friends, welcome to another video. In today's video I'm going to be showing you my plans and my construction plans for my newest project. This outfit from the 2020 adaptation of Jane Austen's Emma. I chose this outfit, well, it was kind of hard to choose an outfit because there were so many great looks from the film, but I chose this one because it was iconic and I really love the color yellow, so it just became one of my favorite outfits, even though it's not worn a lot in the film, but she does wear some of the other costume pieces throughout the film, but we'll talk about that in a bit. This will be the first video in the costuming series, followed up by a bunch of other videos where I show you how to make different pieces of the costume at a time so that you can follow along with me. I don't know if you can hear, but my neighbor is mowing their lawn or something, so hopefully that's not too loud. The first layer we have is the shift. Regency shifts were typically made of cotton or linen, but I think cotton became more popular as time went on. But they were a lot slimmer because the Regency era has a very slim silhouette. Emma's shift tends to have puffed sleeves. A lot of her dresses have puffed sleeves, and so yeah, we're probably going to be seeing that a lot, especially with the dresses and the petticoats. My shift will be made from cotton gauze. The stockings were typically made of cotton as well. They were also very pale in color. I was not able to find a lot of options for cotton stockings, so I had to settle for these synthetic ones, but they were pretty cheap and they are also really, really soft. I will be using yellow ribbon for my garters to kind of go along with this yellow theme of the dress because I thought that would be really cute. The next layer is the stays. Regency stays could be long or short, and they could also feature decorative cording. We don't get to see Emma's stays in the movie. We do see Harriet's stays, and it looks like she's sporting a pair of short stays. I did come across a behind the scenes photo that suggested that Emma may have been wearing longer stays, but I'm actually gonna try and go for the shorter stays because I kind of like the simple, and I like the simplicity of it, I guess. With beautiful simplicity. I don't know what but personally I prefer the shorter ones. I will be using cotton canvas to make my stays, and of course there will be the other materials such as cording, boning, all the other stuff that we use to make our corsets and stays, but that will be covered in the stays video. Next we have the petticoat, and Regency petticoats aren't really your typical petticoats because you can't have any bulk at the waistline because this is a empire waist gown silhouette. The petticoats were pretty much just another dress that was worn underneath a cotton or muslin dress, which were very sheer so that you could see the petticoats in different colors. If you rewatch the movie Emma, you'll notice that she wears the same dress with about 3 different petticoats, I believe. There's a pink one, a yellow one, and a green one. And I think this is a really cool detail because it makes each of the dresses look like a completely new dress. So basically, you have your sheer cotton over top a silk or cotton petticoat. I was not able to find a picture of Emma's yellow petticoat, which is the one that she wears with this outfit. And so I was just planning on replicating this reference, which I found online, of a Regency petticoat, and it was made of silk. However, I did come across an actual screenshot of Emma's yellow petticoat, so I might recreate that one since I am going for a screen accurate look. But the petticoat is made out of silk, and if you have ever tried to purchase silk before, you'll know that it's pretty expensive. It can range from about $20 to $30 a yard on average, and that could really add up, especially if you need a couple yards to make something. So instead I decided to go for this nice polyester, what's it called? Satin. So I found this poly satin and I just picked this up at Walmart. It's just in their costumey fabrics, and it's actually quite nice. It's still pretty soft and easy to work with, so I don't mind, and it wasn't that expensive either. The fourth layer is the cotton dress, and I think when it comes to Jane Austen films, this is the most popular aspect. Is you see a lot of Jane Austen films where they're wearing lots of white cotton dresses that are very flowy. Once again, these were sheer to reveal the colored petticoat underneath, and this is the dress that Emma wears with her yellow pelisse. This is an elegant puffy circle dress because it features these little puffy circles around the skirt. And this really stumped me for a while because I had no idea what they were, and all the references I found were way too blurry to zoom in and figure out what exactly these puffy circles were. I did stumble across this Regency fashion plate in which a similar dress was referred to as the walking dress, and it kind of described the puffy circles, but I couldn't really figure out for absolute certain what they were. If you have any suggestions, feel free to comment, but my best guess is that they're just little circles of cotton that have been perhaps gathered and then stitched onto the skirt. This dress also features lots of fancy trim and piping, and I just think it's a really cute design. And we do see her wear this dress quite often throughout the film, so I was able to accumulate a lot of references for this one. Another interesting detail that I noticed, and this was actually about the petticoat, but when I was on Pinterest looking through references, I came across this photo, which suggested that there may have been some sort of hoop in the petticoat that might have been sewn in there to give the dress a little bit of flair. I don't know if it's a hoop or if it's perhaps some horsehair or some kind of fancy hem to stiffen the bottom, but that will have to be researched a little bit more in depth. My cotton dress will be made from a very light sheer cotton voile, and it will feature lots of nice cotton trims as well. Also, my neighbor's kind of getting a lot closer with their hedge trimmer or whatever they're doing, so yeah, we'll just have to put up with that together. Next is Emma's pelisse. This pelisse is a canary yellow. It has 7 rows of buttons and is a masterpiece of pleating in the back. The texture of the fabric suggests that it's probably wool. However, I was not able to find any wool. I don't know why, but I did find a cotton canvas that is very, very light, so that it's not too bulky, but it is very similar in texture. But the colored cotton canvases, I believe there was a canvas that was like the perfect color, but it was also very, very pricey, and it was cheaper to just buy the canvas in a plain natural color. So I bought that, so we're going to have to experiment with some dyes, which, as you know, I get very nervous about because I'm not good at dyeing clothing, so we'll have to experiment, but I think it's still going to be a fun process. Next we have her accessories. Emma's hat is black and it features multiple trims. and this little feathery flower motif on the side, along with black and yellow ostrich feathers. I was trying so hard to find similar black trims, and I ended up just buying a lot of black trims every time I went to the store, just hoping that I would be able to find some that I could perhaps recreate to be similar to the hat. I'm just gonna try replicating it the best I can with these trims and beads. I also purchased ostrich feathers, which I'm really excited about because they are so fluffy. And I'm also going to be dyeing these black and yellow because, once again, colored ostrich feathers, well, it would have costed me more to buy two separate colors than to just buy one batch of white and then dye them. So I will be dyeing the feathers as well. As for the base of the hat, my original plan was to take a top hat and cut off the rim and then just put fabric over that. However, I haven't gotten a top hat yet, so I may still use a top hat, and I may just use some interfacing to stiffen the fabric and kind of shape my own hat, because it can be tricky to find a top hat that is the exact shape that I need it to be. As for the gloves, Emma's gloves are crocheted, and I don't think I'm talented enough. Well, I mean, I could, but it'd be a lot of work to crochet my own gloves, so I just picked up a pair on Amazon, and they actually look pretty similar to the ones in the movie. They're not exact, but I think they look pretty good. I may add some trim to the gloves to make them look a little bit more accurate to the film, but that just depends on what I'm feeling like when I get to that point. Next is the reticule. And in the Regency era, women could no longer wear pockets because, once again, you couldn't have bulk at the waistline and it would just kind of slip down. So reticules came into fashion, and Emma's reticules are mostly crocheted. In this outfit, she has a yellow and gray reticule, and I was able to find almost identical yarn colors just at the store, and I think they came out really good. And she also has this little black and white band at the bottom, along with a little tassel. And yes, I will be making the reticule myself. And so, yeah, I'm not totally experienced with crocheting, but I did pick up a little book on crochet so I can experiment with those patterns. But yeah, just a disclaimer, I am not a professional crocheter, so you have been warned. As for the shoes, when I took these notes that I'm reading to you, I didn't have a plan for what I was going to do with the shoes, but I was able to find a pretty identical pair of shoes. They're not as pointy as the ones in the Regency era, but I think they'll still do. I think they look very similar to the film. Okay, so that should be pretty much the entire outfit. So I'm going to now go through the list of materials that I have gotten for this project, and I'll try to provide as many links down below to these materials as I can. I spent about $150, $175 on this project, plus an additional 10 or 20 to give me some room for extra materials as needed. First is the fabric. I used cotton gauze, which is going to be used for the chemise and chemisette, and a cotton canvas for the stays, yellow silk or bridal satin for the petticoat, white muslin for the dress, cotton or wool fabric for the pelisse, and black satin for the hat. Next is the rest of the notions. Thin drawstrings for the chemise, stays, petticoat, dress, and chemisette. Thread for pretty much everything. Boning for the stays, a busk for the stays, and this busk is not your typical corset busk. That's metal and closes in the front. This is a busk that is a piece of wood that slides down the front of the stays. Cotton cord for the stays, the dress, and the pelisse. Yellow buttons for the pelisse, white buttons for the dress, interfacing for the pelisse, black trim for the hat, white cotton trim for the dress, yellow ribbon for stocking garters, white ribbon for the petticoat, wait, where was I? Black beading for the hat. I originally had white ribbon on this list for the petticoat because I was replicating that original petticoat, but I don't know if this, I can't remember if Emma's petticoats have the white ribbon detail, but that'll be figured out later. Next is the accessories, the stockings, the crocheted gloves, the shoes, then the gray and yellow yarn for the reticule, black and white yarn for the reticule, some sort of material for the hat base, whether that be a hat that goes underneath or interfacing, and ostrich feathers for the hat. Like I said, I will be providing links for these materials. Unfortunately, I cannot provide links for all of them because some of these things may be materials I already have or materials I purchased at a store that cannot be linked in the description, but I will try to do my best. With that said, that is all that I have gotten for my Emma project, and I can't wait to get started and show you guys that journey. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you learned something new, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Okay, so I didn't actually make tea for this video. This is just boiled water with food coloring.